Welcome back. We're rolling through the Monday edition of the program. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us. We're just talking with Sean Merriman, lights out himself. And I told you last week that I thought there were 5 teams that could win the Super Bowl. And now that we are officially into the postseason, 7 AFC teams, 7 NFC teams, I'm even more convinced that there are only 5 teams that can win the Super Bowl. Now, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be ecstatic if your team wins the Super Bowl. I understand a bunch of you are going to tweet me or email me and say, hey, here's how my team's going to win the Super Bowl, Clay. Here's what has to happen. I understand all that. My team's in to the playoffs, too. We went 11-5 on the season with the Titans. I think we have almost a 0% chance of winning the AFC, right? You have to be somewhat realistic when you look at the overall situation there. And to me, here are the 5 teams that can win the Super Bowl, okay? Now, there's a bit of a wrinkle this year in that you have to desperately hope that some of your star players are not suddenly going to test positive for COVID, because if that does end up happening, then you could find yourself in a tough situation where suddenly your starting quarterback is out. Now, I'll ask, by the way, Todd Furman, who's on Fox Bet Live with me every single day, about that in the next hour, because he's scheduled to join us, wake up early, and break down the NFL playoff picture as well as the college football playoff picture. So if, for instance, you're a Chiefs fan and Patrick Mahomes tests positive, well, that's substantially different, right, than what you would anticipate with him out or Aaron Rodgers out or any of those kind of situations. So that's the big caveat, the big difference maker here. But to me, the Chiefs should be and are the prohibitive favorite to win the Super Bowl, to repeat. Hopefully, Edwards-Helaire is going to be back for them, but I think they are better this year than they were last year. I think they've been waiting for the opportunity to play against a high-level opponent. So, and really get into the postseason, almost like the Patriots back in the day. They know they're better than everybody else, and they've been playing a lot to the level of the competition, and they just want to find themselves in this situation and able to go forward. All right, so I've got the Chiefs as the number 1 overall seed and the number 1 most likely team to actually win the Super Bowl. And then I think if you break it down a bit further, I think that the Packers are the second most likely going through Lambeau Field. I've talked about what I think is the significant impact of the home field advantage in that respect. And so to me, the most likely outcome is Chiefs-Packers in the Super Bowl. Those are the 2 best teams. They have to play the fewest number of games. They, to me, are the most likely to meet in Tampa. Then I've got the Bills, who I think you can argue of all the teams that have to play on the wild card, the Bills are by far playing the best. They put up 56 points on the Dolphins, who were supposed to have an incredible defense. They were absolutely dominant. To me, I think you go with the Bills as the 3rd best team right now in the NFL. This is effectively my final OutKick top 5, the 5 teams that are able to actually go out and win the Super Bowl. Then I've got the Saints. I think the Saints, reports are this could be Drew Brees' final year. It would be an incredible way for him to go out on top, much like we saw with John Elway, much like we saw with Peyton Manning. What if Drew Brees were able to join that group and win his 2nd Super Bowl in his final game? That would be a pretty incredible accomplishment. Not very many people are able to do it. Elway did it. Peyton Manning did it. Could Drew Brees do it? Maybe. I've got the Saints as the 4th best team remaining, and then I have got the Seahawks in that 5 spot. To me, breaking down Russell Wilson, they got hot late in that game against the 49ers. Those are, to me, the 5 teams that are capable of actually winning the Super Bowl. And that also is my final regular season OutKick top 5. The Chiefs, the Packers, the Bills, the Saints, and the Seahawks finishing off that 5. Dub, how would you assess that final 5? Would you add any additional teams in your mind that are able to actually go out and win the Super Bowl?
I don't think so. And it's odd to say that because the NFL is the league of opportunity and most teams feeling like they have a chance. But I think 5 is the number. And I think the 2 out of the AFC, Buffalo, Kansas City, and I think Baltimore has an outside chance. I don't give them a real chance just because of how good Kansas City and Buffalo have been playing, especially the Bills. All year I've been Kansas City as my number one team, but Buffalo is making that a really tight race coming down the stretch as we head into the wild card round this week.
Yeah, it is kind of fascinating to think about how exactly this is going to play out going forward. Because, yeah, look, if you were outside looking in, could Baltimore continue their hot streak? Yes. Could the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who offensively have become a real juggernaut down the stretch run here, could they get hot? Yes. Could the Titans just throw caution to the wind and just outscore people because they have a top 5 caliber offense? Yes. Like, you can sketch out really positive scenarios for teams that aren't expected to be as good. But I think the challenge there more than anything else is just thinking about all the things that would need to move in a positive direction in order for that to happen. And to me, ultimately, there are only 5 teams that are going to be able to do it in order: the Chiefs, the Packers, the Bills, the Saints, and the Seahawks.